I'm Gautam Roy. Coming up over the next 1 hour. India's central bank cuts repo rate after 5 years by 25 basis points to 6.25%. It's the first policy review under new RBI Governor Sanjay Malhotra. US President Donald Trump imposes sanctions on the International Criminal Court for targeting his country and its allies, repeating a move from his first term. American Secretary of State Marco Rubio is to visit Israel and Arab states in mid-February. This will be his first trip to West Asia after Trump's proposal for a Gaza makeover. And calls for peace in DR Congo gain traction. The UN calls for mediation even as African leaders are set to hold a joint summit in Tanzania on Saturday. Well, first up, sharing its first revised monetary policy on Friday, India's central bank, the Reserve Bank of India, and its governor, Sanjay Malhotra, has announced that the RBI has cut the repo rate by 25 basis points to 6.25%. It's the first rate cut in nearly 5 years to support economic growth. The move aligns with market expectations as inflation eases.
Decided unanimously.
The RBI has also estimated that real GDP growth for the next year will be around 6.7%.
The RBI has estimated that real GDP growth for the next year to be at about 6.7%. with Q1 at 6.7%, Q2 at 7%, Q3 at 6.5%, and Q4 too at 6.5%.
And the central bank's governor also highlighted the growth of various sectors.
Economic activity is expected to improve in the coming year. Agricultural activity remains upbeat on the back of healthy reservoir levels and bright Rabi prospects. Manufacturing activity is expected to recover gradually in the second half of this year and beyond. Early corporate results for Q3, and we have more than 50% of the results now as we speak. It indicates a mild recovery in the manufacturing sector. Business expectations remain upbeat as evident from the PMI Manufacturing Future Output Index.
And Governor Sanjay Malhotra further said that the RBI aims to increase efficiency in the economy.
We will continue to strengthen, rationalize and refine the prudential and conduct related framework. I think this is very important in the overall interest of our economy. The economic interest also warrants increasing efficiency in the economy, and this too is our duty. We recognize that just like there are no free lunches, regulation to enhance stability and consumer protection too is not devoid of costs. There are trade-offs between stability and efficiency. We will keep this trade-off in mind while formulating each and every regulation.
Let's now take you straight across to India's financial capital, Mumbai, from where we have DD India's Sharma Mishra, my colleague, joining us. Sharma, good afternoon. Pretty much on the expected lines as far as the 0.25% cut in the repo rate at which the RBI lends to commercial banks is concerned. But what else gives hope for some better times to come for the nation in terms of economic growth all around as far as this monetary policy is concerned?
Well, yes, Gautam, as you've mentioned, it was very much on expected lines, and people were not sure that how much basis point would be cut. And today we've seen that the RBI governor, it was his first monetary policy announcement, and today he's cut the 0.25 basis point, and this has come nearly in about 5 years. So after COVID, this is the first rate cut that we are seeing, and definitely it's a welcome move from all the industrialists and even the people, the consumers who have their EMIs running. They are also very happy. To delve into more finer prints, we have Anand Singhania with us. He is the past president of IMC Chamber of Commerce and Industry and also the CEO of JK Enterprises. So how do you see this much awaited rate cut that has come today?
So like you said, almost 5 years. I think May 20 was the last repo cut, and this 25 bips is welcome. I think the housing sector, it's almost borrowing around 13 lakh crores, and 0.25% is going to reduce the EMI. You already saw in the last rate cut CRR reduction leading to about 1,10,000 crores of liquidity. So this will also help both entire loan market, and also the recent budget where the finance minister has tweaked the slabs that will also bring in liquidity, which is much required.
Sir, Governor has highlighted that India cannot be untouched by the global uncertainties that we are seeing right now. What would you say that is India's USP, and how do we better stand ourselves, better prepare ourselves?
So I think what this government has shown that we have the capability to be a global player on the supply chain. So if you look at about 5 to 10 years back, we were importer of mobile phones. Today we are exporter of mobile phones. The mobile phone business in India has gone up by 5 times. Take semiconductors. Take the entire PLI scheme. We have shown that we are ready to supply to the world market at competitive prices. So as the government is moving towards ease of doing business in a bigger, better, faster manner, we are able to really compete on the international market. One area of concern is, of course, the recent depreciation of the rupee. And I think the RBI is very vigilant about it, and they'll keep the rupee under control, whereas it's good for exporters, but we are import country. So we have to keep our imports in check.
Also, sir, lastly, I'd like to ask you where the growth projection of the last quarter remains the same, but for the next FY26, the first quarter, that has been changed and that has been brought down. Going forward, in quarter 3, we see about 7%. This particular growth trajectory that we are seeing, how do we maintain that, and what really needs for India to be at that 7% range?
So I think a couple of factors. I mean, government has been doing the capital spending continuously above 10 lakh crores. This year also there's about 11 lakh crores. If you add the defense budget, that's another 2 lakh crores towards capex. This liquidity that will come in with the CRR cut, the infusion of funds in Jan, this repo cut also will ultimately leave money on the table, right? I mean, everybody's EMIs will go down, they have additional money. Also, very important psychologically, I think what the government did with the slabs, when they went from 7, expectation was 9 or 10, they went to 12. So people, which were on the borderline will now really look at these slabs as an additional money available. And it's not just 5 lakhs, it's 5 lakhs multiplied by 4 or 5 family members per unit. So you're talking about, or let's say 2 or 3 who are earning. So you're talking about 10, 15 lakhs of zero tax or low tax regime. So I think it's going to bring in the liquidity that's required for the growth.
All right. So yes, Gautam, more liquidity in the market, and also when people have a lot of money in their hands, be it the courtesy, the tax slabs exemption, and also now the EMI that will come down. So people will have that relief, and once that relief really goes into the market, when with people's spending or investment, it will definitely lead to India's growth story further.
Well, yes, that is definitely the hope. Thanks a lot for joining us, Sharma, and thanks to your guest as well. And now we're going across to Anil Padmanabhan, senior economic journalist, who is with us to talk about this latest revised monetary policy of the Reserve Bank of India. Good afternoon to you, Anil. What do you make of this repo rate cut? Apart from the kind of stance that the RBI has kept, it's kept it as neutral, gives hope for further rate reduction if everything goes according to plan and there aren't too many shocks to the system delivered from outside.
Gautam, we'll have to hold our breath on future rate cuts for now. But I think you have to don't see this rate cut in isolation. you have to see it in the context of what the finance minister did on budget day on Saturday. So the kind of tax giveaways of about 1 lakh crore, and your colleague has just talked us through how this will play out in the economy. For the middle class, the bonanza continues because the FM doled out a lot of giveaways, and now the Reserve Bank, by cutting interest rates by 25 basis points, has signaled cut in all, since everything is linked to the RBI rate. You can expect EMI rates, housing, particularly housing loans, etc., to start coming down, and education too. So all in all, it augurs very well for a consumption boom. So this RBI Finance Ministry Jugalbandi has once again struck, and it's 5 years, like your colleague pointed out, since RBI cut rates. But I would say that hang on to this, and it augurs very well for the economy at this point of time.
Okay. What are the other moves apart from the budget? You mentioned the raising of the rebate that is there till 12 lakh. It was 7 earlier for those who take up the new income tax scheme. Apart from that, the RBI had taken some steps in January, before that in December as well. Do you think everything is adding up to ensure that India could see up to or maybe beyond a 7% rate of growth for the new financial year?
Yeah, I would like to believe that, Gautam, but there's a big if here, which is India Inc. So they have been holding back their purses on investment for years. And despite many inducements, and despite the government of India running with the mantle, stepping up its capital expenditure, almost trebling it in the last 5 years, the private sector continues to drag its feet on investments. But they are running out of excuses, because now the ecosystem for investments couldn't have been any better given the circumstances. Please remember, we are living in extremely inclement times, particularly globally. Nobody knows which way the world economy is headed. There's a trade war that threatens to unravel any point of time. And given the state of the US economy, they are not going to cut interest rates, which means the rupee will continue to be under pressure. So given this circumstance, this is the best window open for India Inc. with this big boost in consumer demand that the FMS initiated. As the governor said in his credit policy, the rural demand is fine and doing very well because agri has recovered. So this is the best moment to step in with your investments.
Can one readily expect the banks, the commercial banks, which do most of the lending these days, retail, particularly in retail, they'll pass on this repo rate cut to potential or even existing borrowers?
See, Gautam, we have seen that pass-through has improved over the last few years. It will not be instantaneous because there are some other macroeconomic conditions operating right now. The liquidity conditions are a little tight, and presumably the Reserve Bank of India will solve this problem. The governor has signaled as much, but we'll have to watch their actions. Once liquidity improves, the commercial banks are in a better position to lower the rates because they'll be able to lower the deposit rates. Right now, they are very tight. So hopefully there's another step which will come through. Last week, I think the RBI released fresh liquidity into the system. The liquidity is tight because there has been, due to the rupee's depreciation, the Reserve Bank of India has been buying up money from the market. So it's an if and but they should. Normally, the pass-through is far more efficient than it was, say, even 4 years ago.
All right. Well, let's hope that that happens soon, because that will again add to the renewal or the reinvigoration of the consumption cycle, with people taking additional loans and or having extra money in their hands if their EMIs go down. Thanks a lot for joining us for the moment, Anil Padmanabhan. Our scholar and researcher, Dr. Mayank Joshipura, has expressed confidence that the rate cut will fulfill the government's priority on increasing liquidity by increasing consumption.
RBI has signaled that they want to accommodate and boost consumption, so they have cut repo rate by 25 basis points from 6.5% to 6.25%. This is one of the most significant move because the last rate cut was in March 2020. Having said that, going forward, if inflation ease out and given that government has shown this fiscal discipline by pegging the target of fiscal deficit at 4.4% for the next year, hopefully we'll have opportunities where RBI can cut rate further and boost consumption.
And still to come on DD India News Hour. Donald Trump's administration is sued by government workers over cuts to US aid. Ahead of a summit on artificial intelligence in Paris, France and the UAE agreed to develop a massive AI data center. And the Philippines' Vice President Sara Duterte says she's prepared for an impeachment.
Geopolitics and trade deals. Economic challenges amid development. Hard work and the path to prosperity. It's the economy always. Between walkers, money is what money does and says. Supply creates its own demand. Between the bulls pulls and bears tears. When supply chains globalization and India rises to the podium. We'll get you centered with the Economic Brief at 8 p.m. every Thursday on DD India.
Welcome back. You're watching DD India News Hour. I'm Gautam Roy. Now, US President Donald Trump has signed an executive order, yes, one of those again, that accuses the International Criminal Court of engaging in illegitimate and baseless actions targeting America and our close ally Israel. Trump's administration has long opposed the ICC's investigations into the US and allied nations, calling them unfair and politically motivated. Here's a report.
US President Donald Trump slapped sanctions on the International Criminal Court on Thursday. He signed an executive order saying the court had abused its power by issuing an arrest warrant for Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. He ordered asset freezes and travel bans against ICC officials, employees and their family members, along with anyone deemed to have helped the court's investigations. The move coincides with a visit to Washington by Benjamin Netanyahu, who, along with his former defense minister and a leader of Palestinian militant group Hamas, is wanted by the ICC over the conflict in the Gaza Strip. Senate Democrats last week blocked a Republican-led bill that would have sanctioned the ICC for pursuing Israeli leaders. The 125-member ICC is a permanent court that can prosecute individuals for war crimes, crimes against humanity, genocide, and the crime of aggression against the territory of member states or by their nationals. The United States, China, Russia, and Israel are not members. There was no immediate reaction from the court, but the Netherlands, the country's host country, said it regrets Trump's sanctions order. The U.S. House passed a bill last month to sanction the ICC, but Senate Democrats blocked it last week, saying the bill could backfire on U.S. allies and firms. Anamika Pandey with Lipakshi Kurana, DD India.
The Council Chief of the European Union, Antonio Costa, warned sanctions on the International Criminal Court were a threat to the wider judicial system on Friday. This was after U.S. President Donald Trump punished the court over its probes into America and Israel. Costa wrote on social media platform X, and I quote, "Sanctioning the ICC threatens the court's independence and undermines the international criminal justice system as a whole." Now, the decision by the US President to slash US aid has triggered a backlash in the US as well. Many protesters have voiced opposition to cuts in a key program which funds AIDS relief as a result of downsizing of US aid. Sources say the Trump administration is to keep only 294 US aid staff out of over 10,000 globally. More in this report.
Protests have erupted across the US against many policies and executive decisions taken by the US President Donald Trump. Protesters gathered outside the US State Department in Washington, D.C. on Thursday to voice their opposition to cuts in the US President's Emergency Plan for AIDS Relief, or PEPFAR. More than half of the program's grants are implemented by US aid. The protesters chanted slogans as police surrounded the area and rerouted the traffic. Trump government's effort to slash American foreign aid is also crippling the integrate global system, as per experts and according to the humanitarian organizations.
What they've done is completely illegal. Actually, Congress is the one that enacted a law creating PEPFAR. They're the ones that created the United States Agency for International Development. It's actually not up to Secretary Rubio, it's not up to the president, and it's certainly not up to Elon Musk to decide to destroy that, to abolish that. That's actually a clear violation of Article 1 of the Constitution that actually says it's up to Congress.
Officials have warned that millions would be at risk if PEPFAR program is not extended further. According to the State Department, PEPFAR has saved more than 26 million lives globally.
We've already seen what happens where if you privatize healthcare, then there will be cherry picking. Cherry picking of who gets funding. It won't be on merit. And also, people will be forced to pay out of pocket. Because HIV treatment is lifelong, that is too much to put on the shoulders of people living with HIV around the world.
US aid has been a target of the government reorganization program spearheaded by Elon Musk. The Trump government plans to keep fewer than 300 US aid staff out of agencies' thousands. Bureau Report, DD India.
Panama has rejected the US's claim that it has secured free passage for government vessels through the Panama Canal. Take a look.
Could well be the first embarrassing moment for the US Department of State under the Trump administration. In a sharp rebuttal, the Panama Canal Authority refuted a claim by the United States that it has secured free passage for government vessels through the Panama Canal while bowing to US pressure to quit a key Chinese project. Panamanian President Jose Raul Mulino expressed his rejection of managing US-Panama ties based on lies and falsehood after the State Department's claim.
That is intolerable, simply intolerable. And today, Panama to you and to the world expresses my absolute rejection of continuing to explore the path of managing the bilateral relationship based on lies and falsehoods. Our ambassador in Beijing presented the corresponding document according to the agreement to announce the cancellation 90 days before. That is a decision I made.
The statement by Panama was released just hours after the announcement by the US Department of State. It denied any changes to the tolls and other fees. The statement said that Panama Canal Authority representatives would speak to US President Donald Trump on Friday afternoon. Panama further said that it had presented a document to exit the Belt and Road Initiative, but denied that the decision had been made at the request of the United States. Trump has accused Panama of charging excessive rates to use its trade passage, one of the busiest in the world. As per the Neutrality Treaty signed in 1977, when the United States agreed to return the canal to Panama, US military vessels are granted priority passage through the waterway. But all other ships must pay tolls that vary depending on size and type. Bureau Report, DD India.
Mexican armed troops began guarding the fence snaking along the US border as part of a deal with Donald Trump, who delayed tariffs on Mexico in exchange for increased efforts against illegal migration and fentanyl smuggling. Locals, however, are skeptical that the soldiers will make a difference so far as drug trafficking is concerned. About 2,000 troops were assigned to Tijuana as part of the 10,000-strong border reinforcement that President Claudia Sheinbaum pledged under the deal with Trump. They quickly got to work guarding and patrolling the border, searching for clandestine tunnels used to smuggle migrants and drugs. US Secretary of State Marco Rubio will make his first visit to West Asia this month, following President Trump's comments on relocating Gaza's population. Secretary Rubio is set to attend the Munich Security Conference, after which he will visit Israel, the United Arab Emirates, Qatar and Saudi Arabia from the 13th to the 18th of this month. Speaking earlier Thursday during a visit to the Dominican Republic, Rubio indicated that Trump is also seeking support for Gaza's reconstruction from nations with both the economic and technological capability to assist, likely referring to wealthy Gulf Arab states. Israel has informed the United Nations Human Rights Council that it will follow the United States in withdrawing its participation, the ambassador to the UN in Geneva said on Thursday. Council members have frequently raised allegations of Israeli human rights violations in the Gaza conflict. Israel rejected the finding and said it takes care to avoid civilian casualties. It has long criticized the Geneva-based body and has disengaged in the past as well. Israel's ambassador to the UN in Geneva, Daniel, said the Human Rights Council has been a biased body since its beginning, with dictatorships lecturing democracies on human rights.
We are very close to the United States, but this step was not coordinated. We have been for a long time complaining about the things that I mentioned today, and this was a very good opportunity following the step of President Trump to also take our step that would have happened probably anyway.
Russia's Interfax news agency reported on Friday that Russia and the US have not yet begun to discuss a possible meeting between Russian President Vladimir Putin and US President Donald Trump. The agency cited Kremlin spokesperson Dmitry Peskov as saying there had been no initial contacts about whether such a meeting was needed or where and how it might take place if it did happen. Trump and Putin have both said they are keen to meet in person, with the agenda, if such a meeting does take place, expected to focus on Trump's stated aim to bring a swift end to the Ukraine war. Meanwhile, the Ukrainian military reported on Friday that it shot down 81 out of 112 drones launched by Russia overnight in an attack on the country. No damage or casualties were reported in Kyiv, though gunfire was heard as the city's air defenses attempted to shoot down drones with small arms fire. The military also said that 31 drones failed to reach their targets, likely due to electronic interference. Let's now take a look at some other stories making news around the world. A flash flood hit Nazca in Peru's southern Ica province on Thursday, following 5 hours of heavy rainfall. According to the local media, the storm drain surged dramatically, sweeping away mud, stones and trees, alerting the authorities. Hundreds of candles were lit to pay tribute on Friday to the victims of the deadliest mass shooting in Sweden that claimed 11 lives, including the assailant. The area was closed by the police as a precautionary measure. Sweden's police is carrying out an investigation into the case. Acclaimed film and television actor George Clooney previewed his upcoming Broadway debut in Good Night and Good Luck on Thursday. Clooney is the co-writer and star of the play, adapted from his 2005 film of the same name. Good Night and Good Luck runs on Broadway from the 12th of March to the 8th of June. And still to come on DD India News Hour. We'll get you all the updates from the budget session of the Indian Parliament. The fortnight-long annual Suraj Kund Mela is showcasing the colours and craft of India in the state of Haryana. It's been inaugurated. And Pakistani Hindus take a holy dip in the Sangam, praise Mahakumbh's grandeur.
Timeless, boundless and infinite, the essence of faith, the soul of Sanatan culture, from the sacred confluence of Prayag, where divinity descends to earth. Witness the grandeur, the devotion, the magic. World's largest cultural and spiritual gathering, with over 450 million devotees expected to attend. Mahakumbh, India's greatest festival of faith. Exclusively on DD India.
Welcome back. You're watching DD India News Hour. I'm Gautam Roy. Now, French President Emmanuel Macron has hosted his Emirati counterpart Sheikh Mohammed bin Zayed Al Nahyan ahead of a summit on artificial intelligence in Paris next week that will gather around 100 countries to focus on AI's potential. Macron and UAE President attended the signing of a protocol agreement on cooperation in AI between their two countries. This was at the Presidential Palace in Paris, France. France and the UAE agreed on a framework accord for a 1 gigawatt data center dedicated to artificial intelligence that represents investments of between 30 to 50 billion US dollars. The February 10 to 11 summit also aims to put France and Europe on the AI map as they try to rival the US and China. Iran's Supreme Leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei has urged his government on Friday not to negotiate with the United States, calling it unwise and warning of reciprocal actions if the US threatens Iran. Khamenei added that negotiating with the US is neither intelligent nor honorable. He also criticized the US for having ruined, violated and torn up the 2015 nuclear deal. In 2018, US President Donald Trump withdrew from the pact and reimposed sanctions, crippling Iran's economy. This led Tehran to breach the deal's nuclear limits. Now, efforts to bring peace to the Democratic Republic of Congo are gaining momentum, with United Nations Chief Antonio Guterres calling for mediation to end the crisis. Meanwhile, as African leaders prepare to meet to address the escalating violence, the occupied city of Goma remains on the brink of uncertainty.
The United Nations Secretary General Antonio Guterres called for peace in the Eastern Democratic Republic of Congo, urging African leaders to work towards ending the escalating violence in the region. Highlighting the need for mediation, Guterres warned that the conflict risks engulfing the entire region.
Silence the guns, stop the escalation, respect the sovereignty and territorial integrity of the Democratic Republic of the Congo, uphold international human rights law and international humanitarian law. There is no military solution. It's time for all the signatories of the Peace, Security and Cooperation Framework for the DRC and the region to honor their commitment.
His appeal comes ahead of the high-stakes summit of the East African Community and the Southern African Bloc in Tanzania starting Friday. The crucial summit is expected to bring together Congo President Felix Tshisekedi and Rwanda's President Paul Kagame. Congo has accused Rwanda of supporting the rebels in the east, a claim that Rwanda denies. Separately, the United Nations Human Rights Council will hold a special meeting in Geneva to discuss the dire situation in the Eastern Democratic Republic of Congo. Congo's parliament held an extraordinary session this week to address the escalating conflict in the eastern region. Some lawmakers opposed dialogue with the armed groups, citing concerns over democratic principles and territorial integrity.
We must seize this moment to provide the President of the Republic with constructive contributions to secure victory in this war, both diplomatically and politically.
Meanwhile, the M23 rebels gathered hundreds of people in a stadium in Goma on Thursday, introducing new administrators for the areas they have captured. The situation, nevertheless, remains volatile, with the rebels continuing their advance, seizing another mining town in the South Kivu province and pushing towards the provincial capital Bukavu, despite declaring a unilateral ceasefire. The United Nations has reported that clashes in Congo's eastern city of Goma resulted in at least 2,900 casualties, with the illegal exploitation of mineral resources in the region remaining a significant factor contributing to the online crisis. Bureau Report, DD India.
Over in the Asia Pacific, Philippines Vice President Sara Duterte has said on Friday that she had been preparing for impeachment since last year and would welcome her father, former President Rodrigo Duterte, to join her defense team if he wishes. Duterte said that she had not read the complaint against her, endorsed by a majority of lower house members, but her legal team has been preparing for a Senate trial. The Senate President has indicated it could occur in June. Duterte's comments were her first since the lower house impeached her, charging her with culpable violation of the Constitution, graft, corruption, high crimes and betrayal of public trust. She has denied any wrongdoing. In Bangladesh, an uncontrolled mob vandalized and set fire to the residence of former President Abdul Hamid in Kishoriganj district on Thursday night. According to local media reports, a large crowd gathered at the house and stormed it, broke into the premises and looted valuables before setting it on fire. Earlier in the evening, a mob demolished the Kishoriganj District Awami League office using a bulldozer, escalating tensions in the area. Daily Star newspaper reported that houses of Awami League leaders were attacked and torched, and murals and busts of Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujibur Rahman were demolished and defaced in nearly 24 districts on Thursday. Under the collapsed law and order situation, mobs vandalized and lit fire to Awami League offices and its leaders' homes as well, and other establishments in many districts. Meanwhile, Bangladesh Nationalist Party has urged Dr. Yunus-led interim government to control nationwide unrest. The budget session of the Indian Parliament continued on Friday with members participating in general discussions of the Union Budget for 2025-26 in the lower house or the Lok Sabha. As the Lok Sabha began, Minister of State for Health and Family Welfare Anupriya Patel replied to the questions asked by members regarding maternal and infant health outcomes during the question hour. The upper house, also known as the Rajya Sabha, has taken up the private members' legislative business after reconvening at 2 p.m. That's IST. Now, during the question hour, Commerce and Industry Minister Piyush Goyal replied to the question regarding the import and export of diamonds. Earlier in the day, matters raised with the permission of the chair were taken up during zero hour.
लैब ग्रोन डायमंड की क्वांटिटी भारत में सिग्निफिकेंटली बढ़ रही है, जो दूसरी टाइप की है जो इंडिया में नहीं बनती है उसकी इंपोर्ट बढ़ी, और उसका जब प्रोसेसिंग होके एक्सपोर्ट हुआ तो आपकी जानकारी के लिए हमारे एक्सपोर्ट में जो गिरावट आई है वो मात्र 5% है। 52 मिलियन कैरेट से 48 मिलियन कैरेट, मात्र 4.5 मिलियन कैरेट कम हुआ है। इंडियन मार्केट ने बाकी डायमंड बिका है।
Let me now take you across to my colleague Vishal Baristo, who's joining us live from Parliament. Vishal, what can you tell us about the kind of action we're seeing today in the budget session of Parliament? Are things going smoothly? Because the budget is also being taken up for discussion in one of the houses.
Well, a very good afternoon to you, Gautam. Yes, both houses are functioning smoothly. The budget discussions are on. And today in the lower house, the Union Finance Minister also attended the discussions, though the opposition was quite critical of the budget presented by the Finance Minister. They were saying that some of the states, they have been ignored. In Bengal particularly, the TMC was very vocal about how Bengal did not get its due share. But otherwise, the Treasury benches were very appreciative of the speech of the Prime Minister in particular, and the budget of Nirmala Sitharaman, the Finance Minister of India, and they were saying that it is a roadmap to India's becoming a developed nation by 2047. Earlier in the lower house, the Union Minister JP Nadda, he said that there is no dearth of urea in the country, though there have been attempts by those who are involved in black marketing to create a deficit, a shortage of urea, but it is not like that, and government has taken all care that there should be no shortage of urea in the country, and the farmers have what they want. So the discussions are going on today. The private members bill would also be introduced, and this includes the one on artificial intelligence and how will it impact the employees and their job security. And the other one is on deep fake, how it can be prevented and how it can be criminalized. So the discussions as I speak to you are continuing both in the lower house and also in the elders house of the parliament.
All right, Vishal, thanks for that update from Parliament. Now, with a voter turnout of 60.4% in Delhi Assembly election, which was held on the 5th of this month, the city is buzzing with anticipation for the vote count and the results on the 8th, which is on Saturday. The highly anticipated Delhi Assembly elections of 2025 have set the political stage ablaze, with Aam Aadmi Party, Bharatiya Janata Party and the Congress battling it out across all 70 constituencies. Exit polls have started tipping the scales in favour of the BJP, forecasting a major victory over AAP. Meanwhile, Congress seems poised to continue its lacklustre performance. And ahead of the Delhi Assembly election results, preparations are on at full swing, with special security arrangements and facilitation for the counting process. Karnataka High Court has denied the request to transfer the investigation of the alleged Mysore Urban Development Authority scam, the Muda scam in other words, involving Chief Minister Siddaramaiah, to the CBI on Friday. In its verdict, the court said that the material on record does not indicate that the investigation conducted by the Lokayukta is partisan or lopsided or shoddy for this court to refer the matter to the CBI for further investigation or re-investigation. The petition is dismissed, Lokayukta to continue its investigation. The Calcutta High Court admitted the CBI's plea challenging the trial court's life term till death sentence awarded to RG Kar Hospital rape murder case convict Sanjay Roy on Friday. Meanwhile, the court dismissed the plea of the West Bengal government demanding capital punishment for Sanjay Roy, the convict of the RG Kar case, saying that the state has no locus standi for such pleas. Both the CBI and the state government had filed appeals before the High Court seeking capital punishment for Roy. To meet the growing demand for forensic experts, the National Forensic Science University is setting up open campuses in 9 states in India by the end of 2025. The National Forensic Sciences University, or NFSU, is the world's first forensic university and is headquartered in the city of Gandhinagar in the western Indian state of Gujarat. Besides domestic expansion, there are also plans to open more campuses abroad. NFSU has already got an operational campus in Uganda.
The world's only forensic science university, National Forensic Science University, is going to expand its footprints in other states of India and also planning to go beyond Uganda when we talk about its international footprints. To talk more on this, we are joined in by the Vice Chancellor of National Forensic Science University. This university going to open in 9 states. What is the current status?
Presently, we have 10 campuses, including Gandhinagar. Gandhinagar is the main campus, the headquarters. Out of 10, 9 are in India, 1 is in Uganda. But there is huge demand now. So the Government of India, the Ministry of Home Affairs decided to establish 9 more campuses in India. And these campuses will be in Maharashtra, in Chhattisgarh, in Rajasthan, in Bihar, in West Bengal, in Orissa, Tamil Nadu, Andhra Pradesh, and other states.
What about the expansion that you guys are planning internationally?
Presently, you will be surprised, but we are extending our support in terms of capacity building in investigation and security to around 86 countries. Presently, we have students who have come from 42 to 43 countries.
Okay.
They are studying here.
The surge in demand for forensic experts who are dealing with cybersecurity, digital forensics, and subjects in the forensic space. This demand, to cater to this demand, this expansion has been necessary, and which is what this National Forensic Science University is carrying out domestically and also planning to expand its footprints internationally. With my colleague Krishna Shah, this is Meghna Dev for DD India from Gandhinagar, Gujarat.
And let's now get you all the latest from the Mahakumbh, which is the largest gathering of humans anywhere on the planet. Around 450 to 500 million people are expected to take the holy dip in the Triveni Sangam in the largest religious gathering of Mahakumbh 2025. DD India's Siddharth Bhardwaj reports.
Kumbh 2025 is witnessing large influx of devotees from all around the world. People from all parts of the world are coming here to take the holy dip in Triveni Sangam, the confluence of river Ganga, Yamuna and Saraswati. In fact, for the first time, a group of 68 Hindus from Pakistan's Sindh arrived in Prayagraj to take holy dip in Triveni Sangam and also to immerse the ashes of their ancestors. After taking holy dip, they described their experience as fulfilling and overwhelming. Chief Minister of Haryana, Nayab Singh Saini, along with his family, came here to take holy dip in Prayagraj. In fact, Nayab Singh Saini also said that he prayed for welfare of everyone. As the day progresses, more and more people fill in the streets of Prayagraj, and especially here at the Mela premises, to head towards Triveni Sangam. And from past 2 days, the locals and people from nearby districts have also started coming in large numbers to take holy dip in the Triveni Sangam. The schools here in Prayagraj will be closed till 7th to 12th of February, till classes 8th, and they will be having their online classes. Although teachers will have to go to schools. According to estimation, around 40 to 45 crore people are expected to take holy dip in the Triveni Sangam. The Mahakumbh 2025 will go on till 26th of February. With camera person Mohan Mukul Sharma, this is Siddharth Bhardwaj reporting for DD India in Prayagraj.
Let's now take a look at some other stories making news around the country as well. Union Minister Gajendra Singh Shekhawat inaugurated the 38th edition of the Surajkund International Crafts Mela in the western state of Haryana on Friday, along with Chief Minister Nayab Singh Saini. This year's edition is witnessing 648 participants from 42 countries and will come to a close on the 23rd of this month. The government of the western Indian state of Rajasthan got acclamation for record participation of 1.33 crore, that's 13.3 million people in Surya Namaskar program organized by the State Education Department earlier this week. A provisional certificate of acknowledgement was given by the representative of the World Book of Records in London. Narcotics Control Bureau Mumbai Zonal Unit busted a major drug syndicate in Mumbai suspected to be handled from outside the country. 11.54 kilograms of very high-grade cocaine, 4.9 kgs, hybrid strain hydroponic weed and 200 packets of cannabis gummies and 160,000 more were recovered during the raid. And time now to get you some sporting updates as well. Well, the 38th National Games in Uttarakhand continue to witness intense competition across various sports disciplines, with services emerging as the front-runners in the medal tally. The state has secured a total of 56 medals, including 31 golds, that's the category, and 13 silver as well as 12 bronze, showcasing remarkable performances across multiple events. Following closely, the state of Karnataka holds the second position with a total of 56 medals, comprising 30 gold, 11 silver and 15 bronze. Maharashtra currently stands third with 94 medals, including 19 golds, 13 38 silver medals and 37 bronzes with their consistent performances. Other states have been adding an impressive tally as well. They've been notching up an impressive tally as well, including Tamil Nadu, Manipur and Delhi as well as Kerala. With several events yet to be held, rankings may witness further shifts in the coming days. The 9th Asian Winter Games 2025 will kick off in Harbin in China starting Friday. The Games will continue until the 14th of this month. This year, the Asian Winter Games will feature the largest representation with athletes from 34 countries and regions across Asia. To promote winter sports in India, the government has approved the participation of an 88-member Indian contingent, which includes 59 athletes and 29 team officials. For the first time, full financial support is being provided under the Assistance to National Sports Federation scheme for the athletes. Liverpool thrashed Tottenham Hotspur 4-0 at Anfield on Thursday to set up the League Cup final against Newcastle United. Cody Gakpo, Mohamed Salah, Dominic Szoboszlai and Virgil van Dijk were on target for the Reds. Now they'll face Newcastle at Wembley on the 16th of next month for the first silverware of the English season. Newcastle saw off Arsenal 2-0 and a 4-0 on aggregate on Wednesday to secure their second final in 3 years. The final will be Liverpool's 15th in the League Cup, but a first in English football for Liverpool's Dutch manager Arne Slot, who replaced Jurgen Klopp at the end of last season. Forward Ferran Torres scored a hat-trick to lead an imperious Barcelona to a 5-0 rout of Valencia in the Copa del Rey quarterfinals on Thursday. Torres scored from a quick counter-attack in the second minute and extended the lead in the 17th. Fermin Lopez scored the third in another counter 5 minutes later, and Torres gave Barca a 4-goal lead with a strike from the edge of the box. The visitors took their foot off the gas after the break, but Yamal still added a 5th goal in the 52nd minute. Barcelona joined Real Madrid, Atletico and Real Sociedad in the semi-finals, with the draw set to take place on Wednesday. And in tennis, Carlos Alcaraz eased into the quarterfinals of the Rotterdam Open on Thursday with a comfortable straight sets win over Italian qualifier Andrea Vavasori. The top-seeded Alcaraz had far too much firepower and accuracy for Vavasori, running out a 6-2, 6-1 winner in just over an hour. Alcaraz will now face Pedro Martinez for a place in the semi-finals. And Stefanos Tsitsipas saved a match point and battled from a set down to overcome local hope Talon Griekspoor in a 3-hour marathon. The world number 12 overcame spirited resistance from the Dutchman with a 6-7, 7-6, 7-5 victory. Tsitsipas now faces a quarterfinal clash with Italian qualifier Matteo Bellucci. Olympic champions Gabriela Papadakis and Madison Hubble made history at a figure skating gala in Zurich, becoming the first same-gender pair to skate together at such an event.
You should know better, I told you so. Talking and we're talking, but not loud enough. Told me this house was no longer working. I hear those wheels burning, yeah, it's over now. Maybe I should wait. We hear about, we're talking and we're talking, but not loud. But you should still kill. I'm living my heart I broke. I lost it, but we're talking and we're talking, but not loud. We're talking and we're talking, but not loud.
And that's all we have for this edition of DD India News Hour. But let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. And for those on the go, you can get all the latest news and updates from India and across the world on DD India's mobile app. It's available on both Android and iOS. You can scan the QR code on the screen and download the app right away. I will be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I'm Gautam Roy. And from all of us here in Delhi, thanks for watching DD India News Hour.